Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of what is going to be our free-to-play Pokemon Champions run. Now, here we are with our new version of the team. I went ahead and tried to claim some more Pokemon. None of them really felt like they would fit super duper well on the team, except for, I believe, in the last episode, I did not have our Caladon. That is the one Pokemon that I've added to the team. I think it makes for a more reasonable rain team than it does than it would like for Tyranitar to be a part of the team. So in this version, we are going to have a pretty offensive oriented Archaladon like rain setup. Sylveon was just kind of thrown on here, but I'm quite pleased with Dragonite, Archaladon, Pelipper, Whimsicott, Sneasler, and Sylveon. The moveset is pretty typical for I think most Pokemon now. I have used a lot of the VP. I'm around 4,000 VP now. That makes for either like one Mega or two Mega Stones almost, and a couple Pokemon that I could edit. I do have a usable Meganium that I was thinking about throwing on here, but I don't quite feel like spending the VP to get its Mega Stone, being that it's in the actual Battle Pass, the free one even. So this is the team that we're going to try and stick to. Hopefully we can get a couple wins here, and hopefully we don't run into as many bots as I think we did in the last video. I'm going to begin matchmaking, and let's find our first opponent. For our first opponent, we're going to face against a Japanese player. It looks like he has a pretty weak Pelipper team. Again, my experience with the Japanese players is that generally they've been bots for some reason. But hopefully this isn't the case. So we are going to lead Pelipper. I think Pelipper's biggest threat here on the team is probably going to be King Gambit, maybe. The rest of the other Pokemon are pretty weak to Hurricane, and it's an offensive Pelipper, so I imagine it could quite, probably do some damage. Altaria is the other annoying Pokemon that is just kind of bulky and doesn't really tank a whole lot anyways. I think what I want to do is probably just do that and like lead our Chaladon or Sneasler. We'll do lead our Chaladon. We'll put Sneasler in the back to maybe get through that King Gambit a little bit more easily. And then because he is so weak to flying, let's have Dragonite in the back. I could have definitely done Sylveon. He has 3 Pokemon weak to Fairy, but Victory Bell and Arcanine are pretty solid checks to this Sylveon. We're going to lead Victory Bell Hawlucha. We're going to go Pelipper Archaladon. I believe my Archaladon would outspeed this Hawlucha if I were to decide to go for Icy Wind here. And then we're going to go Icy Wind plus Electro Shot into the Hawlucha slot. Icy Wind is going to come out first because I am a fast Choice Scarf Pelipper. That will de-speed both of those Pokemon since my Archaladon is quite fast. It does go next with an Electro Shot into the Hawlucha slot and most definitely picking up the KO. The other Pokemon here would be Victory Bell, but yet again, I still don't think Victory Bell is going to be quite a problem. It can maybe do a little bit of damage to Pelipper, but it's not doing anything to Archaladon. As we see Seed Bomb come out into the Pelipper slot, does a little bit of damage because I am quite frail with my Pelipper. Luckily, its physical defense stat is just quite high enough, like probably more than okay. We are going to go for another Icy Wind just to make sure that Heracross can't feed through, and yet again we're going to go for another Electro Shot, my most powerful attack, especially with my Health Magnet. One more Icy Wind would actually take out Victory Bell, and then the Electro Shot is going to come into the Heracross slot and most definitely yet again take it out, especially at +2. Now this is probably a bot. We saw in the last episode that the couple of players that I actually did face were quite wrong. They had pretty good teams. Maybe my team just wasn't so good, and I'm not super well versed in VGC. So it's probably not a real player, but I think that's fine. It's annoying, I guess, but you know, it's really not the end of the world. Now I actually do. I probably can click Icy Wind here. If they go for Sucker Punch, they're just going to outspeed me anyways. And since I am so powerful now, Electro Shot into King Gambit should be enough to take the KO. Icy Wind should be enough to take Victory Bell. It'll obviously slow down the King Gambit, and even though it might have Defiant and it'll get an attack boost, the Electro Shot from this Archaladon should be enough to take the KO. Plus the Electro Shot going into the King Gambit slot, and should definitely take that KO as well. GG's to my opponent, even though I do believe they were a bot. GG's nonetheless. And then I will get into our second battle. All right, we're in our second battle. This time we were playing against Teo Kava. I believe is how you pronounce that. Looks like some sort of weird, maybe sand team. Out of the Pokemon here that I don't really think are a threat would probably be Armarouge and Volcarona. Hippowdon is an annoying Pokemon. I still think I want to probably lead Pelipper. If not, then I could maybe... No, I still think I probably should lead Pelipper. Plus maybe Archaladon to bait them into clicking high horsepower into the Archaladon slot. If they do... No, that sounds poor. We'll do Pelipper Dragonite up front. In the back, we will have Archaladon for that Tinkaton slot. And then for the Garchomp, let's bring Whimsicott. Yeah, that should do. Especially if they don't lead Hippowdon, that does give me a slot for Pelipper. This is a Mold Breaker Dragonite, so it should be able to live one hit from another opposing Dragonite. I don't see Fake Out on the opposing team. I think I go for U-turn into the Dragonite slot, and then probably Mega Evolve here and click Draco Meteor into the opposing Dragonite slot as well, just to try and get the KO. If I do see them pivot out a Pokemon, ideally it is Armarouge, and I don't see an attack come off from it. Secondly, I should outspeed with Pelipper. Dragonite shouldn't die to a Dragonite hit, and it should outspeed Armarouge. So if they decide to not pivot out anything, Dragonite here should still go down. If they pivot out Dragonite, they are going to go and take out Armarouge, probably going out into apparently Tinkaton, not Hippowdon. My Dragonite does Mega Evolve first, so if they are Mega Dragonite themselves, I believe that means I'm faster. They are going not to Mega Evolve, so U-turn come out, break the multi-scale, Dragonite, Draco Meteor come out from my Dragonite into theirs, should definitely take the KO. Unless they're maybe Haban Berry. Now I do see Tinkaton come out. I think that means I probably go out into Archaladon. Draco Meteor is going to come out. That's going to be a really big hit into the Dragonite slot. The best move for my opponent there was probably to switch out Dragonite into the Tinkaton if that was their ideal plan to get it out anyways. But at the same time, I really don't know what the opposing Armarouge would have really been able to do into my team. Fire move wouldn't have been good into either target. I guess I could try to protect here, but there's not really any point. Tinkaton is definitely the biggest annoyance there. And then my Dragonite is relatively weak right now. Especially, you know, offensively at least. Hurricane Thunder and Draco Meteor. Draco Meteor isn't good into Tinkaton. Hurricane isn't good into Tinkaton. Thunder's my best option. Thunder's not a super duper powerful move, especially not at -2. I think I could either click Protect here on a potential Play Rough. Maybe they're gonna try and Encore me. So let's go for Protect actually here. I think Dragonite might be the apparent threat. And again, they might want to Encore me into Draco Meteor to try and, you know, make sure I keep being strong, weak. They're gonna Gigaton Hammer into the Dragonite slot. Electro Shot is going to come out next. Fired off into Tinkaton. Let's see how much damage it does. Electro Shot doing a solid chunk to Tinkaton, over 50%. Aura Sphere is going to come out into our Chaladon, taking me almost down to my Sturdy. I do think this is maybe a position where I could protect our Chaladon and pivot out into Pelipper here. Pelipper can Icy Wind and take that Tinkaton a little bit slower. Or it can even Weather Ball that slot. So that might be my plan here. So just to bring out Pelipper. Our Chaladon's protecting here so that I can avoid a KO, and I can still attack the following turn. I don't believe either of these Pokemon learn Faint, so it's impossible for them to break through the Protect, and that means our Chaladon is guaranteed to survive the turn. Pelipper incoming. We are going to see the Protect come out from our Chaladon. Tinkaton is actually locked into Gigaton Hammer, or it's the only move it has, so that's a little strange for my opponent. I don't believe this is a bot. Psychic is actually just going to completely remove the Pelipper, a critical hit. That's really unfortunate. Now, it's not the end of the world because my Dragonite should be able to Thunder this Tinkaton and kill it that way. Armarouge can still end up clicking Electro Shot to the Armarouge slot. We're going to click Thunder into Tinkaton, Electro Shot into Armarouge, and that should take out both opponents. I guess they could always pivot out into the Hippowdon, and Hippowdon would be immune no matter which side it's sent to. But this should be a KO on the two following Pokemon, assuming they don't switch out. Yeah, and this is not a bot. They are communicating. So there's a real player behind the wheel here. Thunder's going to not be able to remove the Tinkaton. Doesn't look like any Para either. Gigaton Hammer is going to come out into our Chaladon, efficiently remove it. Now, the Armarouge here is probably going to go for Psychic again. I do believe I still have Multi-Scale, so it doesn't do a whole lot of damage. Are going to go out into Whimsicott. Now, we know that this Tinkaton is not a threat at all. I want to Fake Tears into Armarouge plus Hurricane to guarantee the KO unless it's Focus Sash. I don't know if Hurricane would do enough damage to KO it normally, so Fake Tears is just to ensure that. Fake Tears is going to be able to drop its special defense by 2 slots, and then Hurricane will be able to come out and completely destroy it. No Focus Sash on that side, so it is a dead Armarouge. We are going to see Struggle come out from Tinkaton. If it goes into the Whimsicott slot, that is going to break the Focus Sash, but it is going to take it out as well. So that leaves only one Pokemon remaining. My Dragonite is relatively fast. The rain is gone, so Hurricane and Thunder aren't quite as accurate, so hopefully it's not a Pokemon that is immune or weak or resistant to Dragon. But we are going to see Garchomp. Garchomp is going to definitely be a Pokemon that doesn't need Fake Tears support in order to kill. I think here I'm just going to click Protect with Whimsicott to guarantee that it can do a turn, and then we're going to click Draco Meteor, hopefully hit and KO the opposing Garchomp. Garchomp is faster than Dragonite, so this might be a throw. But we are actually naturally faster than this Garchomp specifically. Maybe they're adamant. Draco Meteor is going to bring them down to the Focus Sash, it looks like. And we are going to see what attack from Garchomp here. Rage is going to go into the Whimsicott slot. That's totally okay. We are going to just click Moonblast into Garchomp, and that should absolutely be the killing blow. But it looks like they're going to click Forfeit here, and we are going to claim the second match of the game, or of the video. We are going to just go right back out into the third match then here. Into round 3 here, we are playing in Spider in the third match. Charizard is annoying, but I do think maybe I could justify just going Choice Scarf Pelipper. Choice Scarf Pelipper outspeeds every single Pokemon here that isn't Dragapult. And frankly, I could go like Whimsicott and Pelipper. Whimsicott Dragonite even. or Whimsicott Archaladon. Archaladon has a really, really solid round here, so I think that might be what I want to do is Whimsicott Archaladon. Archaladon can hit every single Pokemon on his team super effectively except for Mouse Hold. Mouse Hold I don't think is a threat into the Archaladon or the Whimsicott. Well, maybe Whimsicott it can guarantee a KO, but that's kind of all it's capable of doing. I think Sneasler is good just because of how fast it is and how good it is. How good it is offensively. Well, it hits a lot of his Pokemon super effectively. And then finally, I think guaranteed we bring Pelipper just to avoid Drought from the Charizard. And I think that's what we're going to end up doing. Whimsicott, Archaladon, Sneasler, and Pelipper. From our opponent, what are we going to see? Luck have fun to Spider. He's on a 4-game win streak, so maybe we can break that here. Charizard and Azumarill. We're going to go Whimsicott Archaladon. We're going to go for the Tailwind here, and then I think I want to just go for the Dragon Pulse into the Charizard slot. Maybe I do Protect here, actually, with Archaladon. I think it's probably the bigger threat of the two, and I don't really want to take a combination of like Play Rough and Heat Wave from the Azumarill Charizard respectively. But we're going to go for Protect here. Doesn't look like any Mega coming out here. Caught for the Tailwind. I see a Swords Dance from Charizard, so that makes me think maybe this is a Belly Drum from Azumarill as well. Definitely scary. I think I want to go for a Protect on Whimsicott to savor it, make sure it's still alive here one turn, and then I kind of want to go for Flash Cannon into Azumarill, assuming that'll be able to KO. I could maybe try to go for Electro Shot on Charizard and switch Whimsicott out into Pelipper, but what if this is a Tough Claws like Dragon type version of Charizard, the Mega X? And I believe Flash Cannon should be enough to KO Azumarill. Azumarill's not the bulkiest Pokemon ever, and it didn't get recovery from Citrus Berry. So granted, just click Flash Cannon. Oh, it is a Mega Charizard at Y. Mega Charizard. I'm very glad I didn't go for the Electro Shot Charizard slot. They are going to rip Drought. Whimsicott is going to go for the Protect. My Archaladon does move second, and it's not quite enough able to take out the Azumarill. Does have Citrus Berry, so it mustn't have been quite fast enough. I should still be faster than this Charizard slot. Azumarill is going to go into the Whimsicott. I am definitely clicking Moonblast into Azumarill, trying to... Moonblast might not be enough to take it out, actually. I think Archaladon is probably in a better position to live a hit from Charizard. We're going to go out into Pelipper and click Electro Shot into the Charizard slot before it gets too fast. My Archaladon should be faster than Charizard still. We're going to remove the Rain as well. So, Aqua Jet into Pelipper is going to do an insane amount of damage, but it is going to leave me at 1 HP. Electro Shot's going to come out next into the Charizard slot. And we'll be able to remove the Charizard from the game. KO onto Charizard. Now, the Azumarill took way more damage with that Aqua Jet than I really thought. I am glad Pelipper is able to live the hit, but it is scary that it only lived the hit barely, because that is not Focus Sash. That is just a simple 1%. My guess is that Azumarill is strong enough to take out Archaladon here. What I think I want to do here is click Hurricane into the Azumarill slot and maybe protect the Archaladon. That sounds safest to me. I want to be able to KO Azumarill if possible. I don't think Whimsicott is going to go for an offensive attack, and I think Archaladon is their biggest threat, so we're going to go for Protect here. Archaladon Protect is going to come out. What are we going to see from the Azumarill? You're not going to see Aqua Jet. We're going to see Pelipper nail the Hurricane onto the Azumarill slot and take it out. That's awesome. That leaves them with only Whimsicott in the Pokemon that they have in the back. Giga Drain is going to come out onto the Pelipper slot and take it out, unfortunately. We still have Tailwind here. I think we might be just out of it now. I could go Whimsicott here, but I think it might be in my best interest to probably go out into the Sneasler slot, just so we can get Fake Out control, and then we still have our Focus Dash from Whimsicott. They have their own Whimsicott. They can go out into really any of these Pokemon. I guess the biggest threat would be probably the Dragapult. Yeah, we'll go out into Sneasler. Or Dragapult. Really, all I need is Whimsicott, really. Mousehold's gonna come out. We're gonna be right here. We are gonna go with the Fake Out into Whimsicott, be able to take it out. We're gonna go into for the Electro Shot into Mousehold. Whimsicott, in my opinion, is better for the Focus Sash, and Mousehold is more than likely not able to take out Archaludon, even if it were to go for Low Kick, because Archaludon is quite resilient. I actually think there's maybe a justification for me to just click Flash Cannon into the Whimsicott slot as well and double into it. I could see a Protect, which would make sense, but we don't. Fake Out into Whimsicott is going to prevent it from acting. There is no Covert Cloak, so there's no ability for them to be immune to it. Population Bomb is going to come out. If they can hit all 10 slots, that is going to KO Sneasler. And they do get it. But the Flash Cannon from Archaludon should absolutely be able to take out the... Now, that only leaves them with the Mousehold. I think maybe I go for just Tailwind to guarantee I'm faster than Mousehold. Tailwind plus Dragon Pulse. We still have Rain, though, so we're going to go for Tailwind plus Electro Shot. I guess there is a chance that this is Focus Sash. Don't believe Population Bomb would be strong enough to take out our Charlodon. So we'll go for Protect plus Electro Shot into the Mousehold spot. This could also be Silk Scarf, but there's just no guarantee for me to know that. But just to be safe, we're gonna... Okay, shouldn't be able to KO. Yeah, our Charlodon is quite light. I guess we get to see if this is Focus Sash now. And Electroshot is going to come out into the Mousehold slot and completely take it out. It was not Focus Sash, so that was a little bit of a hasty Protect. I could have just clicked Tailwind, guaranteed out speed, and hit the Mousehold pattern. But I am glad to know that Low Kick wasn't enough to do whatever percent of HP I was at on Archaludon. I think it was around like 38%. And that's going to actually get us to rank 1 Pokeball tier. And put us just in range that maybe one more victory is going to get us to Great Ball tier. So how about we try and get one more battle in here and see where we can go. Our final battle here against Jolene, win or lose, this will be our final battle. I see a pretty annoying team. I believe Morpeko was buffed to get Fake Out in this game, so it has Fake Out, Parting Shot, Super Fang, stuff that can really be annoying for my team. I don't see Fake Out control, so maybe Whimsicott is the best one to go to, although Dragonite is quite fast, and don't see a Pokemon that has weird gimmicks for Hawlucha to be annoying with. So maybe we just go Whimsicott plus Dragonite up front. Then we go Pelipper in the back for Rain. And Archaludon just because of Light Bulb again. We're going to go for the full Rain Core. Good luck and have fun to Jolene. We're going to see Armarouge and Manectric. Manectric is probably Intimidate here. Luckily, we are both special attackers on my end. Not Intimidate, so we could go for Tailwind here, although I think the only move that Dragonite, or that Manectric has to Dragonite is Thunderbolt, and Thunderbolt's not a whole lot of damage anyways. And then we are going to Mega Evolve with the Dragonite and probably just click Draco Meteor into the Armarouge slot. Armarouge is going to try and KO not here probably. Although Manectric is quite frail. I think what I want to do actually in hindsight is Tailwind plus Draco, Mega Draco into the Manectric slot and just try to remove it in one turn. They are going to go for the Quick Claw, so is that going to make them faster than Whimsicott? I believe that just doesn't give them priority. It should still be faster. Just makes them act first in their priority bracket. So Whimsicott's Tailwind should still come out first here. It just means this Manectric is still guaranteed going to outspeed my Dragonite. I just can't think of anything that it's going to be able to do to remove it in that way. A Snarl is actually annoying. And that's going to break my Focus Sash as well. So that Quick Claw proc was very good for them. Draco Meteor is going to unfortunately miss on the Manectric slot too. So this was a really unfortunate turn for me. Armor Cannon is absolutely going to rip out Whimsicott. Really unfortunate turn for me. I do believe that Snarl probably would have had them live Draco Meteor from Dragonite. So maybe my best move now is to go out into Archaladon and just try and break through this in one turn. I think I still want to click Protect here probably. And then just to, well, no, because I think I probably need to remove Manectric. If Quick Claw is going to have that much of an influence on the game, I think I want to probably just click Dragon Pulse and Draco into Manectric slot, because they're probably going to click Snarl yet again. Manectric, does it get Lightning Rod? It does, so I can't even go for like a swap into Pelipper and try and like blast this Armarouge. So we're going to go for Dragon Pulse into Manectric, and yet again, we're going to click Draco into Manectric slot as well. We are going to act first, no Quick Claw luckily, so Draco and Dragon Pulse will both come out and rip into this Manectric slot. That means my Archaladon should maintain its special attack, unless Armarouge can somehow do something about that. And guaranteed it will at least be faster than my opposing Pokemon's teams. This Aura Sphere will not be able to knock me out in one hit. Even if it did enough damage, it still would have just knocked me down to my Sturdy, and I would have guaranteed live at least one hit. We're going to see Milotic come in. Milotic is probably one of the more annoying Pokemon in this match, so we're going to go for Electroshot into Milotic and definitely try to remove it by swapping it to Pelipper and making sure that Electroshot can immediately go through. That also activates the Rain for the Dragonite in the back now, so it has Hurricane and Thunder. If for some reason Archaladon can't quite steal the deal Pelipper slot. Electroshot is just so much damage though that I think if they were to live it, they would have to be Waconberry. That seems like a weird bring on Milotic. I imagine it would rather go for like Citrus or Leftovers. So Electroshot full power is going to rip into the Milotic and properly take it out. Armarouge can definitely try to go for something. I could definitely see Psychic. I can Aura Sphere into the Archaladon. Pelipper this is the first turn that's been in, so we can choose any attack. We're going to see their final Pokemon in the back. Bring out Dragonite. Still have Tailwind up, I believe. And hopefully seal the deal in this just one turn. We're going to see an opposing Dragonite, which is a little scary. I can't think of anything that this Dragonite can do right away, so I think what we do is click Dragonite, or Draco into Dragonite and click Icy Wind. Icy Wind breaks the multi-scale if they do decide to Mega Evolve here. It makes me faster than it, guaranteed. I could maybe go for Weather Ball as well. But if there were Choice Scarfed or something, Choice Scarf Dragonite, I'd rather... No, I would still be faster because I do have that one turn of Tailwind. Yeah, we'll go for Weather Ball, the Dragonite slot, and do maybe a little bit more damage, and then also rip the Draco Meteor. Weather Ball is just in case they try to remove my Dragonite with Armarouge, like if they go for Psychic or something, and somehow like get a crit and kill me that way. This is just me being a little bit overly precautious to try and guarantee the win, and make sure I can rank up into Great Ball easily. Looks like we're going to go on a bit of a win streak today. Psychic rips into the Dragonite slot. A crit would not have been enough to kill me, so that Weather Ball might have been a little bit too cautious. Not a big deal. It is what it is. Draco into Armor Rouge, Weather Ball. Armor Rouge should absolutely seal the game. They can try and go for Psychic into Dragonite, but it shouldn't matter. I think Pelipper should be able to take it out on its own, even if it's Focus Sash. But we still have the Dragonite back. GG's to my opponent. I believe their name was Jolene. GG's all around. I think that's probably going to be the final battle for today. Went on a 4-game win streak. We won against the bot at the beginning of the game. And then we've won, I think that was 3 real players back to back. That first game was a little weird with the Tinkaton being struggle, but you know, it is what it is. The second game was a little bit closer, and then this third one was, you know, maybe equally as close. I'm really glad to get to Great Ball tier here. I would show you the rest of my team, but looks like there's some story elements that I have to dig through here. I hope you guys all enjoyed the day 2 free-to-play grind of Pokemon Champions. I should see you guys tomorrow, if not the day after. I do have work here, but hopefully we can get back to Pokemon Champions pretty soon. This was Oro, and I hope you guys have a great rest of your day. Bye-bye.